Jaron Ennis should have fought Teofimo Lopez instead of Devin Haney. This is AEO Boxing from Adiba, and let's talk about it. So, news recently broke that Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez have signed a contract to fight each other August 16th in Saudi Arabia. The fight is apparently going to be at a catch weight of 145, and for what it is, this is a good fight. A little late in my opinion, but two of the four modern kings are fighting, so it is what it is. And it looks like Teo is finally getting the big fight that he's always wanted. I'm assuming that Teo will be the favorite going into this fight, which is understandable, but I do believe that Haney has the style and body frame to beat Teo. Teo has struggled and arguably lost to two pure boxers in the past, and Haney's considered one of the best pure boxers in the sport. But it all depends on what Haney shows up on August 16th, because there's still a lot of doubt regarding if Haney's still the same post Ryan Garcia, and his performance against Jose Ramirez left a lot to be desired. However, I feel like Jaron Boots Ennis low-key missed out on a good opportunity, and in hindsight, he should have taken the fight against Teo. Let me explain. Jaron Ennis is the biggest name at welterweight, holding the unified IBF and WBA titles. He's proven his drawing power, selling 14,000 tickets in Philly twice and 10,000 in Atlantic City, and he's got the full backing of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom's resources, which is huge. His profile has grown significantly underneath Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, but he's still a step below being a true superstar status in boxing. To reach that next level, he absolutely needs to fight another big, notable name, and not just another contender. And Teo will be the perfect stepping stone. Now look, Teofimo Lopez is not a massive superstar. He's not Tank, not Ryan, not Haney, and not even Shakur when it comes to ticket sales. However, he's a legit, notable name in boxing. He's a 2-division champ, 2-time lineal champ, and people do respect his skills. Plus, Teo brings drama, attention, and controversy. A fight between these two would undoubtedly draw significant attention and sell, giving Ennis exactly the kind of platform he needs. A win over Teofimo Lopez could very well propel Ennis into the next level, especially if he delivers a dominant stoppage. The same could be said for Teo, but in a different way. Teo has more to gain than lose here. If he wins, he becomes a 3-division, 3-time lineal champ, and a credible achievement. And if he loses, he's got the perfect excuse: I was a smaller man. Ennis will still get praise for beating Teo, regardless of the size excuse, because Teo is currently very disliked by a significant portion of the boxing fan base, especially among black boxing fans, due to his racial comments in the past. So even if Teo tries to leverage the smaller man excuse, Ennis will still earn widespread respect for beating someone so widely unpopular. However, for Ennis, losing this fight would be absolutely catastrophic for his career and momentum, but most people, including myself, favor Ennis to win. From a style standpoint, Teo's footwork and athleticism could cause some issues for Ennis, similar to how Karen's movement created a few awkward moments and he was able to land some good shots on Ennis. But despite those successes and potential vulnerabilities exposed by Karen, Ennis still beat Karen handily in both of those fights. Against Teo, I believe Ennis would ultimately win by a stoppage. Ennis has significant advantage in size, reach, and power, coupled with the speed and athleticism to match Teo. Given these factors, Ennis should absolutely win that fight, as easy pickings in my opinion. Considering all of those things, Ennis should have taken that fight, especially if he plans to stay at welterweight and campaign there. Mario Barrios and Brian Omer Jr. do not seem eager to fight him since they had multiple chances to already do so. I highly doubt that Manny Pacquiao would step in if he beats Barrios, and even if Jin Sasaki beats Norman, there's no guarantee he'd be open to fight Ennis either. If Ennis can't get a unification, then the Teo fight makes the most sense at welterweight, but as we all know, Ennis turned down the fight. The two most logical reasons for turning down the fight is a move to 154 and or starving out Teo due to his past racial comments. I wouldn't have an issue with either, because Teo is clearly looking for a payday, and hitting someone's wallet is often the most effective way to reprimand somebody in America. And in my opinion, the best option for Ennis is to move up to 154. Based on recent statements from Eddie Hearn, Ennis may be struggling to make welterweight. This concern is not new, and is something that Ennis alluded to last year. So if weight is the issue, then Ennis should just vacate and move up to 154. He wouldn't have to worry about draining himself to make welterweight, and frankly, the competition is better and more willing to fight up there. Most fans feel the same way and are eagerly waiting for him to make that jump. I genuinely believe at 154 is where Ennis will truly establish himself as a pound for pound name and a legitimate superstar. If Ennis does make that move, he should target Bakram or Tuzaliev. He's the IBF champion at 154, and beating him would be a huge statement in boxing, immediately giving Ennis a belt, which means power and leverage to make bigger fights at that division. However, if Ennis chooses to fight a contender at welterweight with no good real explanation, then it's going to look like a duck, and those ducking narratives would be incredibly damaging to Ennis' public perception in boxing. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like, subscribe, and more content's coming your way.